So there's absolutely no doubt that the Democrats do that, and I think Greens have become a whole lot more resistant to that. And when you are smeared constantly and kept out of the media, it's very hard to attract the base that you need in order to be a functional national party. So the Green Party has its...
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I need to pause. I've been thinking about that a lot, and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I could just be living in my weird bubble, but that's not really an excuse in 2024 and beyond. All right, so let's go ahead and make this clear, because I know I got a lot of new subscribers, which thank you, I appreciate you. But a lot of comments I have kind of been seeing is, talking about third party, and they're trying to like educate me on not voting Democrat and not voting. It's like, okay, chill out. I understand that, and there's a lot of questions that I have myself. And if you agree with some of these things, let me know in the comments. But when it comes to third party voting, I'm not the individual to just do a protest vote. You know what I'm saying? I want my vote at least to go to somewhere where I want to win, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to vote Green Party just because I don't like the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? That's not how this is supposed to work. I want to vote for policies and whoever has the best ideas, not a protest vote against that person. Because that's the same argument people say, the Democrats are just running off of don't vote Republican because Trump is bad. Like, that's the same, it feels like the same strategy Green Party is doing, saying, hey, don't vote Democrat because they're bad. It's like, okay, I got you, but are you going to win? Can you really win? Because that's not how I want to utilize my vote. And when it comes to just them not really being present only during election, that's a concerning to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your plans? I need to see you throughout these 2 years, 4 years. I need to see you, and not just in 2028. That's not gonna work for me. When it comes to building coalitions, like, are you trying to get individuals into Congress that are Green Party members? Like, how does that look? Is it even possible? I want to know. I need to know. And some of those questions that I have, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have. And with her doing this interview with Miss Brianna, like, at least to me, and I don't want to jump the gun here, but like, I felt like questions still weren't answered. And essentially, I had more questions at the end of the interview than I had at the start. You know what I'm saying? So, like, those are the, obstacles people like myself have by voting, or at least trying to vote third party. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch the video and just hear it from yourself.
The Green Party is a largely dysfunctional party. It's a top-down party. It doesn't have strong roots to labor. It tends to, every election cycle, cough up candidates without any real base. Mm-hmm. They don't do the kind of grassroots organization that needs to be done. So I think we saw that. It was a protest vote. I voted for the Green Party. And as you know, I've long been a supporter of third-party movements, worked for Ralph Nader, of course, as a speechwriter. So, but I think the Green Party has to be completely overhauled, or we have to begin to look at a party that rises up out of the union movement, low-wage workers, is more organic. And I suspect that the lack of support for the Green Party was an illustration not of deep dissatisfaction with the two-party duopoly, and in particular the Democratic Party, but the failings within the Green Party itself.
So let's take them one by one.
Let's do it.
What about this claim that the party itself is dysfunctional, that it's top down, and that it needs to be overhauled in its entirety? He's not the first person to sort of allude to there being some internal problems. Obviously, Dr. West ended up leaving this ticket in part because of some concerns that I felt were sort of vague, frankly, coming from him. And I would have liked to hear him substantiate more. But we do get a lot of this sort of gesturing at the idea that there's something wrong internally at the Green Party, something that I will speak for myself. I'm personally open to acknowledging as true in the interest of reform, but I struggle because I don't hear a lot of clarity as to what exactly that means.
Now, before she even answers, in my heart, if she could answer those kind of concerns or questions from the gentleman before, like, to me, if she would have hit those, just bam, 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 like, that would have been pretty satisfying for me. Those questions, like I said, I know I'm not the only one that has those concerns or questions like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys only show up every 4 years. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? What are you guys doing on the ground? I want to know. Who was Butch Ware? I just seen him on my screen one day. Like, those are questions. Can she answer them? Let's see.
So
what do you take? What do you make?
So I have to say this critique is coming from people who are not connected to the Green Party. For all of Cornell's, accepting the support of the party, he really wasn't connected to the party at all, except for this requirement that there were going to be debates. And how many debates have you seen him in? Like zero. He's extremely debate and forum averse even. He won't get on the stage with someone else. And that's what I heard from him, actually, that, oh my God, I can't do 4 debates, for our primary election for selecting our candidate. So that was his only connection, was hearing that there was going to be, a requirement for dialogue with other primary candidates. So I think that's all he knows about the party, to tell you the truth. And then there's rumor and innuendo. And yes, the Green Party has been quite divided, and I think very much subject.
Wait, so I just have a question, because I'm trying to remember exactly how the sequence went when it came to first Cornel West was like, did they recruit Cornel West as like, hey, he's running third party? There you go. Like I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to do some digging up on like how that works, because she said Cornel West is not connected to the Green Party, and it's like, okay, I get it. You don't want someone to represent your party if they don't understand the party. I get that, but why was he even a choice, or even like a hat or a name in a hat? Like, why, if he has no connection or no like groundwork or no like for the party? So okay, but maybe I'm asking too many questions here. Let's go ahead and continue.
To infiltration, and we now have evidence that the Democrats do that. They advertise for managers of spies and infiltrators. So there's absolutely no doubt that the Democrats do that, and I think Greens have become a whole lot more resistant to that. And when you are smeared constantly and kept out of the media, it's very hard to attract the base that you need in order to be a functional national party. So the Green Party has its
okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to pause. I've been thinking about that a lot, and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I could just be living in my weird bubble, but that's not really an excuse in 2024 and beyond. Like maybe back in, early 2000s, like you need to be on those major platforms. I get that, like that's really the only way you're going to get yourself heard, through the radio. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may not even know what a radio is. Like, that was a thing to really get your voice heard. The radio and the news networks. You needed connections. You need money. You need favors. You need those buddy type of relationships to get out there. I understand that. But with social media, I mean, look at us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this essentially for free. I don't have, YouTube is not charging me to post my videos. You know what I'm saying? So like, how hard is it for her? I mean, she's already pretty well known. How hard is it for her to make a presence on social media, to actually talk to her voters? She doesn't need a third party to talk to her voters. Or maybe I'm just thinking too simple. I don't know. Once again, maybe I am. Let me know in the comments. But to me, that's not really a valid excuse anymore, because I'm going to do a video where Don Lemon is talking about these major news networks are losing viewers. In just November, I had more views than MSNBC. I had more views than them in the month of November, which is crazy. So once again, like, I don't know if you can use that as an excuse anymore.
Challenges, but consider every other people-powered political party that has existed for the last 50 or 60 years. They all get wiped out or pushed back. You don't survive as a national party. So it's a very difficult role to take on, to try to be a critic at the national level and also run local and state candidates. It's really hard to cover that.
Let me ask you this. I want to get specifically to the issue of down ballot races and also talk about how they performed in this cycle. But this top-down accusation and the question of how to get labor involved, I don't think either of us would disagree that it would be wonderful and critical even to have more grassroots labor involvement. The question is how one does that and why that isn't happening organically. And I am reflecting on, for instance, how invigorating it was and how hopeful it was to have someone like Sean Fain withhold his endorsement of the Democratic candidate for a period of time and to cite Gaza as part of the rationale, but then how frustrating it was for that endorsement to ultimately be given over. And it does seem to be evidence of the extent to which even the best of the union movement, the labor movement, are fundamentally unwilling to break from the Democratic Party. So like, what gives there? And even if it is the case that labor itself is top down in these endorsements, Bernie saw this with the culinary union endorsement going to Biden back in 2020, but winning the rank and file, right? And winning a state like Nevada where the culinary union is so crucial because obviously the hotels and all of that. Then what does that mean? Can unions similarly be criticized as being top down? And how does the Green Party then do what Bernie managed to do, which is to get the rank and file to invest in at the third party as opposed to the Democratic Party?
So it absolutely takes resources and credibility in order to do that. This is the first election in which we have had endorsements and participation and system level collaboration with labor. And it's not old labor, it's new rank and file radical labor. So like Shama Sawant and Workers Strike Back, we worked with them. We worked with members of the Boeing strike, people who were on strike, and that union. There's a group called the Independent Socialist Organization. They have a base here in Massachusetts. I'm not sure where exactly else they are, but they overlap with the Railroad Workers Union, who also stepped away from the Democratic Party. And who else? So I think those are the major union connections that we had, which were very fruitful and which we will be building on. So I think this isn't just an issue of the Green Party with its meager resources and organizers. It's also the mindset of labor but labor is in the process of also breaking away. And
So, okay, I don't know if she's going to stop to take a breath, but I hear what she's saying. And I think this is a good opportunity for people like myself to actually start to track this. She said she's going to start working with these unions, these institutions, these individuals on building that relationship. So, she said she had some support and backing from these unions. I want to see that in the next 4 years. I mean, not just in 4 years, but I want to see the progression throughout the years. And I don't know, once again, if that's asking too much, but it feels like if you want people to feel like the third party is a valuable party, like you need to take us along that journey, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know that you guys have been putting in the work between years. And that's one of the biggest questions, one of the biggest things that people will just bring up every single time when third party is brought into the conversation. You don't see them until the next 4 years. Well, they need to change that. Be in people's faces. Be on my YouTube feed every time I open that thing. Just like Andrew Yang. I've been seeing Andrew Yang on my YouTube page, homepage, more than Jill. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Because Andrew Yangs know, hey, I need to be in your face. You need to not forget me. And how is that? Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, anything, everything. Be on it and talk to people. That's how you build from the ground up, you know? But okay, go ahead, continue.
We'll be, continuing to reach out and to collaborate. We're doing a conference with Workers Strike Back in Seattle in February. So, I really encourage people to be a part of that and to be part of this collaboration. But also the thing about the Greens being top down, no, if anything, you want to fault the Greens for not having enough structure. We don't have enough hierarchical structure. So we tend to have, we are a federation of independent Green parties, and we do not have really strong mechanisms for having unified projects across the party. We badly need to be strengthened as a national party, but this is the first time that we haven't really been torn apart by factions. I think because we have really sounded the alarm about them. We had a faction that attempted to take over here in Massachusetts and to block my nomination. And we kind of recognized them
I'm sorry.
Stopped it.
What does that mean? What does it mean? What does that mean? You had a faction that tried to take over in Massachusetts and block your nomination.
People who come in under very suspicious circumstances, and
so people who are new to the party.
They're totally new. They come in as a group, and they have they are usually carrying some. They're usually attacking our front runner and trying to elevate some kind of a really crazy, extremely fringe and unqualified candidate. So they try to sort of mess up the works and create some chaos within our process. And they also take on the highest levels of responsibility as they can in the party. So they're not coming in as people who are joining or people who are seeking to learn about the organization. They're coming in a real overt takeover campaign.
And how do you know? I mean, I'm just trying to anticipate any skeptical viewer who might say, well, this is someone who
don't know. You don't
has
know.
Name recognition is at the top. And of course, she's going to resist people who might want alternative leadership, et cetera. So,
right. Yeah. There are many suspicious circumstances. And unless you can hire a private investigator, you're not going to have the evidence. But when you have a whole group of people that come in and try to take the part, to basically try to do a takeover of the party's, leadership structure, and then they go away when they don't succeed, it just raises a lot of questions. And we see this happen over and over again. I mean,
now this is Mark. When it comes to that, and once again, if you guys want to see some of the evidence, I guess they had in that interview, go ahead and watch it. I haven't heard of some of the things that they showed on there, so it does let me know. It does. I don't want to say peace of mind, but it does let me know, like, the Democratic Party does know that the Green Party or any other party is a threat, and they will do some things to try to, have them stumble, trip and fall. So that's something we need to at least be aware of. But I think this is the last part where Brianna asks her, a simple question, and she kind of fails at it.
Mark Elias?
Mark Elias, yeah. Mark Elias was kind of leading that effort. So they do.
I remember that story, and I do recommend people go back and listen to that episode with Matthew Ho all about that. I wanted to come back to this point that you made about some of these new labor relationships being fruitful. Could you speak to that in a little more detail? It is heartening to hear that some of the railroad workers who what you were saying was that you were having a conversation about either overhauling or potentially spawning a whole new party in collaboration with these other groups. I thought you were just talking about, work that you were doing together to kind of support each other mutually. But that seems like a pretty significant evolution to be talking about. I mean, the kind of overhaul that I think Professor Hedges was alluding to, and that many people have sort of asked for various reasons. I mean, you've heard this criticism. I don't love it. Frankly, I think it's overdetermined, but there is this argument that because the Green Party is called green, it's never going to be successful because it's too overly associated with the environment, or all these reasons why it cannot be the Green Party.
I think there's a conversation about a name. There's a conversation about a name. And I think I'm not the only Green who considers that conversation really second, third, and fourth order. The question here is more, what's your coalition? Yeah.
Hey, YouTube. Thanks for watching.
Hey. Whoa, she kind of scared me there. But at least to me, it feels like there was just not enough substance. You know what I'm saying? And once again, maybe I'm just being a little too, anxious. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it just needs to take them some time. Maybe they do have a whole plan out there and I just got to do a little digging. But once again, like, I just feel like I need the Green Party to do everything and anything that they can to stay relevant, to be in the forefront of people's conversations. They need to be on people's social media and having these conversations. And like I said before, like, they don't need to rely on just the 4 or 5 major, media networks. Talk to people on podcasts, their YouTube shows, their radio shows. Like, Trump literally did that, and that got him a lot of attention, unfortunately. And Harris took her time to do that. And, some people say it was a little too late and $1 short. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, for me, myself, this is my personal opinion, like, if I'm ever going to vote third party, I need for them to have a chance to win. Now, what it takes for that to happen is not my job to figure out. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother set of conversations, understanding, knowledge that needs to partake in that. You know what I'm saying? And they need to tell us that. Tell people like me, like, hey, this is what we need, X, Y, and Z. And by the next 4 years, we're going to be at this point. So you don't have to just do a protest vote. You can actually vote for us and we can have a chance to win. So if that's just too much to ask, then I don't know, man. Like, we're going to be stuck with Republicans and Democrats for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? But of course, if you guys agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord link so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.